The Utah Mammoth battled hard, but came up a little bit short against the reigning champion Florida Panthers Wednesday night at the Delta Center. I think it's time for the team to make a blockbuster trade, but it's not what you think. All that and more coming up on SLC Puck. So cue the music. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Puck. Why do I sound a little discouraged? You guessed it. It's late on a Wednesday night, a school night, mind you, and we're recording just after a Utah Mammoth loss in a very good game, mind you. Recording this, it's about 10:14 p.m. to be very specific, on Wednesday, December 10th. I'm Austin Facer. Thank you for tuning in to SLC Puck, your favorite Utah hockey podcast. That's why you're here, right? Or maybe you thought you were going to watch like a clip from SLC Punk to defend Matthew Lillard's honor against Quentin Tarantino, and you came across me. And hey, I'm glad you did. We're big Matthew Lillard fans here. He has not answered any of my DMs, emails, texts, or any of the other messaging forums to come on the show, but we're hoping he'll come our way. That's what we do. We reach out to people who need to have their voices heard, and I feel like I'm that kind of person. I need to be heard. I need to be understood. I need to get some emotions out. It was a really, really intense game tonight. The Utah Mammoth just played a 4-3 loss to the reigning champion Florida Panthers. A game that slipped out of their hands in the last minute thanks to a slick little rebound goal by Anton Lundell. Rebound, deflection, I don't know what you want to call it, but he knocked the puck out of the air, put it past Karel Vejmelka with less than a minute to go, and gave Florida the win in a game that Utah played really, really well in, and I was very pleased with the effort there. They had a pretty physically challenging game earlier on Monday against the Los Angeles Kings, a 4-2 loss that was extremely physical. So we'll talk a little bit about both of those games here on this episode of SLC Puck. But first, we got to pay some bills here. Our good friends, Craig Swap and Associates, sponsors of the show. I think they are. I'm pretty sure they're still sponsors of the show. So we love and support them for their support of SLC Puck. Look at these guys. One call, that's all. Community icons. Like these guys show up to Sundance, the place goes berserk. That's how big these guys are, because you know what they do? They make people money. You get hurt at work, you fall off a forklift and stub your toe, you're gonna have a lot of money in your pocket thanks to Craig Swap and Associates. One call, that's all. Utah's premier serious injury and accident lawyers. They're the official injury law partner of the Utah Mammoth, and I'm pretty sure they're the official injury law partner of SLC Puck as well. We also want to give some love to our good friends at Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers and Jonathan's Jewelry for their continued support of SLC Puck. 2 seasons with those guys. They do a lot of great work over there at Charlie Square and in Cottonwood Heights. So go check them out. Say you watch the show, they'll knock 100 buckaroos off your purchase. So with Christmas coming around, and the economy being what it is, saving $100 ain't nothing to scoff at. Am I right? Yeah, there's more to say too. Sorry, I know we want to talk about hockey here, but I have things to plug. Big Tusk Energy Hat pre-sale is going to go live this week. It's going to go live for Patreon members first. I'll show you guys here. It's a very, very cool, very dope hat that I designed. I'm working with a manufacturer to have these made. It's going to be a really premium kind of item there. I'm really excited about all the material, working on some cool packaging, making it a whole experience for you guys. So that's going to be fun. Make sure you get to that pre-order. If you want early access, be a Patreon member. I'll hook it up. So appreciate those of you guys who do support the Patreon. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll get into the hockey talk right now. So, really, really fun game to watch. Played between the Utah Mammoth and the reigning champs of the National Hockey League, two-time defending reigning champions of the National Hockey League Stanley Cup champs, Florida Panthers. We know that the Panthers are a little banged up. They're not at full strength. They're missing Sasha Barkov. They're missing Matthew Tkachuk, right? Those are the two of the biggest pistons that drive the engine on this team. But this is still not a team that is anything to scoff at. I was a little bit apprehensive about this game. I was like, oh, this could, even though Florida's banged up, they're kind of on the outside looking in right now of the wild card in the Eastern Conference. They're struggling to stay in the fight until their guys get healthy, or perhaps they'll retool for next year. We'll see how things go. But I'm like, they play such a physically tough kind of meat and potatoes game that I've been dying to see the Utah Mammoth do. These guys do it better than anybody else. The second they get anywhere near the red line, they dump that puck. They go in, they fight for it. They make the other team break it out. They go in, they battle in the corners. They forecheck like absolute animals, and that's how they've won a couple of Stanley Cups. And I'm like, this doesn't match up very well for the Utah Mammoth. The Utah Mammoth are not a very physically intimidating team. They do have some guys, right, on their roster who can take up physical space with their body, who can throw the body around and, cause a little bit of ruckus. But this has been the biggest issue that this team has faced, is just the fact that they get pushed around a lot. It happened against Los Angeles on Monday. I was watching the game, and you listen to tonight's broadcast against the Panthers, and the one thing they kept saying when referring to Monday's game, they're like, there were more hits in that game than any other game in Utah Mammoth history. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. Tyson Nash would tell you that hits are a dumb stat because, that means you weren't holding onto the puck if you were credited with a hit. And you need to hold onto the puck to win the game. I don't know, and ultimately score. That's a stat, right? There you go. That's a number. But I was in the arena, I was at the Delta Center, and I got the feeling that this very young Mammoth team just got a little bit intimidated by the Los Angeles Kings. It was right off the bat. Drew Doughty, Kings defenseman, comes barreling in, lays a big hit early, sets the tone. And I think Utah was kind of on their heels a little bit from that point forward. They gave up 2 goals in the first period. They did battle back. Brandon Tanev looked like he had scored his first goal in a Mammoth uniform. Everybody was all excited. The building was rocking. And then they go to replay review and revealed he was about 3 feet offside. So, oopsie. Watch that blue line. Dylan Guenther, though, had a great goal on a power play. Didn't shoot from his office, shot from between the circles on a 1T that found the back of the net behind Darcy Kemper, the Kings goaltender. So good things there. The Kings went up again, 3-1. And then Clayton Keller had a really nice moment trying to will the team back into it with a crazy backhand that found the top corner. One of the most gorgeous backhand shots you'll ever see at a hockey game. But ultimately, Utah fell short to lose in what was a very physically demanding matchup. And then fast forward to tonight, I'm like, they're playing the most physical team ever assembled, a team that is rewriting the book on how to win in this era of speed and skill. They're countering that with, no, we're going to crush your heads in. I was worried. I was nervous. I was like, okay, I'm happy for Nate Schmidt. His old teammates are in town, and Vitek Vanacek as well. Their old teammates are in town. They're going to get their Stanley Cup rings. They're going to go to a nice dinner at Valters, Osteria, or somewhere, right? That's just they did a little video, and I couldn't really tell which restaurant it was. I've never been to Valters. It kind of felt like Valters. It was something like that. I've heard the chicken parmesan at Valters is absolutely to die for. It's the premier restaurant in Salt Lake City. That's what I like to say. I think when I don't know if he doesn't own the Mavericks anymore, but Mark Cuban would come to town when the Mavericks were playing the Jazz just to go to Valters, Osteria. Steve Kerr of the Golden State Warriors, head coach, loves that. It's his favorite restaurant in the NBA. So it's a good spot. If you're a professional athlete, you're going to Valters, Osteria.
Hurt in a car wreck, dog bite, slip and fall. Just call Quick Swap. One call, that's all.
After a car wreck, dealing with big insurance companies on your own can hurt your case. One call, that's all means we take care of everything. From dealing with insurance companies to helping you find doctors and repair shops, we're here to guide you from start to finish. Call Craig Swap and Associates today at 801-444-4444.
One call, that's all.
Which is crazy because like they made such a fuss over Salt Lake City restaurants last time the Panthers were in town. They completely disrespected what I believe is probably, let's say, the second best restaurant in Salt Lake City, Chuck-a-Rama Buffet. And that was a whole ordeal. So I wonder, I didn't see anybody in the media reach out, ask the Panthers, for clarification on that. I wish they had. I know the media's taken some hits lately, but that would have been a story I would have liked to have seen broken. Regardless, though, they played the game. Schmidt, Vanacek, they got their rings. Schmidt had a bad game tonight. I think that was seen kind of on the ice. He made a couple of turnovers that were very critical. He also had he had a really nice back check to save a goal at one point, but his one turnover, I can't remember. It was either their first or second goal directly led to a Florida goal by Sam Bennett, I believe. But this game was crazy, and it was such a shame. We had tickets to go, but as you probably know from watching the episode on Sunday, my sister and mother and nephew have been in California enjoying a trip to Disneyland for Sammy's birthday. Thanks to everybody who wished Sammy a happy birthday, by the way. And they got home like literally a couple hours before puck drop. I was fired up. I'm like, we're going, right? We're going to the game. And they're like, Austin, we've been carrying around a 30-pound, like very non-compliant toddler. He's just learning. He's a little fussy sometimes. Taking a kid to Disneyland's got to be tough. Especially like, I don't know, it seems hard. And so my mom and sister had to deal with that. They're like, Austin, we're very tired. Let's just stay home. Let's order some food and watch the game. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. That works for me. And of course, it's like the best game of the year at the Delta Center. It happens. What are you going to do? I got to tell you guys about the time me and my dad walked out of a Jazz game just before Sundiata Gaines hit that game-winning three-pointer over the Cavs back in like 2009. Hilarious, by the way. We totally missed it because we were like, oh, this game's over. We walked out, missed the greatest regular season ending to the greatest ending to a regular season game in Utah Jazz history. Absolutely hilarious. But anyway, we didn't suffer that kind of indignity tonight, but we did miss a really great hockey game. It had everything. Big saves on both ends. Sergei Bobrovsky had a crazy robbery of a sure Clayton Keller goal, one-timer that he timed. Like, it almost looked like something out of like a crazy sports movie. It was so cinematic. Just a perfect push across the crease, snags it right in his glove. You could tell the whole building was stunned. Even the announcers took a second to go, to collect what had happened. The net was so wide open. It was for sure going to happen. If Bobrovsky is half a millisecond behind that play, it's in the back. The puck's in the back of net. At that point, I think Utah would have tied it again. At that point, I think I didn't make a note on what point of the game that was. I was so stunned, but it was a very close game, back and forth. Karel Vejmelka, to his own credit, had a couple of he had one sequence. And this made my mom a little annoyed because I screamed a little bit with Kevin trying to get some rest upstairs. But it was so stunning where Karel Vejmelka is laying on his back and just reaching back with his glove hand and just it was something out of a crazy sports movie where he's just making 4 glove saves just in crazy sequence, just doing this while laying on his back. It was absolutely electric stuff. So you could just imagine how riotous the Delta Center must have been tonight. Again, more crazy play by Dylan Guenther. He was absolutely incredible. Scored twice on 2 breakaways. One had a slick little quick shot right through Bobrovsky's legs, right through the 5-hole for his first one. The second one, again, I talked about this earlier in the preseason. It was really great to see Dylan Guenther add deking to his game. Makes a nice deke on Bobrovsky. Again, splits him right between the legs for his second goal. It was a really strong effort for Utah in a loss. I think I feel better about this than how I was expecting to feel coming into this game. Obviously, Utah lost. I hate to say it, I was kind of expecting that just with how the team's been playing over the last month and a half. But they looked a lot better in the defeat. There was just like a lot more nobility in this one, a lot more honor in the loss. And I think like obviously having the reigning champs in the building, like obviously raised the temperature in the whole arena, and Utah just played with it. And I like that. I was like, you know what, these guys can hang with these guys. Yes, it's not the full Panther experience, but you know, they're playing the team in front of them. They're rising to the challenge. They went down 2-0, but they didn't accept defeat at that point. They stayed engaged. They were with it for 59 minutes of this game. And again, it's so funny to think back on some things that the announcer said. Like, you know, Dom Moore said, Utah's got to learn to play a 60-minute game. They came damn close tonight. They played a 59-minute game. And even in the last minute, you know, they had their chances, but very close to getting what would have been a really, really nice win. And I do feel like I feel okay. Like this one doesn't sting. We've done this before. Let's check out the schedule. We've done this a couple times where we've had to record podcasts late on a Wednesday. And actually, they've gone pretty well recently. The most recent one last week was the 7-0 Anaheim victory that left me totally stunned and speechless because that was probably Utah's best effort. Something about Wednesdays. Maybe it's because the guys know that I'm going to talk about it on SLC Puck after the game. And they were like, we got to give Austin the goods. We got to give him something nice to say, and they've done a nice job over the last couple of weeks on Wednesdays. It's an interesting time right now for the Utah Mammoth. It's a critical juncture of the season, and we've said that a lot. I feel like I'm gonna be the boy who cried wolf at a certain point where, you know, not every juncture can be a critical one. Sometimes you just got to have a juncture for the sake of having a juncture. This though is like kind of important, you know, like Logan Cooley hits the post hard, like his leg literally wraps around the post, thanks to a little bit of a push from Quinn Hughes, who's probably on his way out in Vancouver. Cooley skates off a little bit on his own power, but it looked gruesome. There was this overhead shot of Cooley's leg, again, just wrapped around the post, going the wrong way. He's been ruled out indefinitely. Who knows how long that could be? That could be a few weeks. It could be a few months. Like there's no telling. They're going to be very opaque when it comes to, and opaque, by the way, is a word that you can use when you graduate from college and do a podcast in a basement. By the way, it means very dark. They're going to be very not transparent, I guess is another way to say it, about this injury. And hey, don't let anyone tell you going to college isn't important, because you could have all this if you do. But my mom, who's an educator right now, is just like squirming right now, listening to me. But yes, I do my podcast in front of my mom. Another great reason to go to college. It's a critical juncture. Like I said, Cooley's out. Utah's got to stay in the race right now. They're treading water. Let's pull up the NHL standings right now. Let's get Pucko Vision on, and I hope this is updated after tonight's game. You can see Utah's now on the outside looking in at 31 points. Yes, this does look updated. They're at a record of 14, 15, and 3. They're 3-7 over their last 10. Right now in the wild card positions, we have the Chicago Blackhawks and the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton Oilers, did I say that right? That felt weird. With 32 points apiece at 30 games played each. So Utah trailing by 1 point and having played 2 more games. They're tied with the San Jose Sharks, who have a game in hand and are just behind the Oilers and the Blackhawks. But, Utah's not going to catch the top 3 teams in the Central unless something crazy happens. I don't see that happening. Colorado's a wagon. Don't even think about it. Dallas is right behind them, equally wagony with 49 points and 47 points, respectively. The Wild are having a good season at 37, but Utah right now at 31 points. They're chasing this wild card spot, so they need to stay close to the top of this section of the standings. And without Cooley right now, and perhaps with, I'm sure the team has an idea of how long he's going to be out. We who do basement-based podcasts have no idea. Most people in the media don't have an idea, I would imagine. Again, opaqueness. So what does Utah do to stay afloat? Well, I think a couple things have to happen. One, I think this is a really great opportunity for the other young gun, the other guy that I'm predicting and hoping will one day have a bronze statue in front of the Delta Center in the year 2040. I don't know. Dylan Guenther to step up and be a dog for this team. What's up, guys? I've got a really exciting announcement. I'm going to interrupt the show for just a minute to let you know that we are back in biz. We are giving away a $250 gift card for every episode of SLC Puck, thanks to our good friends at Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers and Jonathan's Jewelry. These guys are awesome. They've got some of the best stuff in the world. Some of the most incredible antique jewelry, engagement rings, stuff to get you out of trouble too, stuff to just show someone that you care and you love them. You can find it all at Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers or Jonathan's Jewelry. They're upgrading their spots. They're upgrading their inventory all the time. So much great stuff. They hit up estate sales. They find all the incredible jewelry that person that you love is really going to enjoy. So make sure you get over there, enter this giveaway. It's the easiest giveaway you'll ever enter. Just scan this QR code right over here. You'll be prompted to send a text message. Hit send on that sucker, and you're entered, and we'll let you know if you're a winner of a $250 gift card. And even if you don't win, you can still benefit from this incredible partnership. Just head into either one of those locations. Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers is at Trolley Square. Jonathan's Jewelry, that's up in Cottonwood Heights. And just mention SLC Puck, and they'll knock $100 off your purchase, just like that. So big thanks to Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers and Jonathan's Jewelry for their support of SLC Puck and Utah hockey fans like you. Let's get back to the show. And I think he can do that. I think we've seen like little glimpses of him. He needs to continue to add to his game. I love the fact that he's finding new ways to score. He's added a deking element to his arsenal of tools. We know he has a terrific shot. He came damn close to scoring another goal tonight off of a one-timer. He scored the goal against Los Angeles. But I think you see him, and he kind of is getting a little bit more engaged physically in these games, which I really like to see. Like, he's not shying away from like pushing a little bit, getting in some extracurriculars, standing up for guys between whistles. And I'm watching him, and I know he's a tough kid. He took that puck to the face, last year. I can't remember what game that was. I wrote the story for KSL.com. I can't remember what game that was. But we know he's a tough guy. He played through that. He came back in the same period of that game. I just have to look this up for my own sake. I have it right here. It was against Calgary last year on April 1st, April Fools. You thought I was leaving the game. Dylan Guenther says, I'm not. I'm coming right back after I take a puck to the face. So I think he's got this like streak of toughness in him that I want to see continue to develop, because that's just kind of what Utah needs. They need to rise to the challenge physically, just like they did tonight. Again, be that team, not for 59 minutes, but for a full 60 minutes. And I think they'll keep themselves in this race, like hopefully for the remainder of the season, and make things really interesting down the stretch. I think that's kind of best case scenario. But the other thing that I think the Utah Mammoth and general manager Bill Armstrong need to very strongly consider is making a blockbuster trade. And I don't mean a blockbuster trade as in a trade that involves like multiple stars, but I'm going to give you guys a little history lesson. But back in the day, before Netflix, before Hulu, before Paramount Plus, before Tubi, whatever the hell that is, there used to be something called Blockbuster, where you would go to a store, you'd get in your car, drive to a store, go in it, and select something that you wanted to view on your television, and and rent a physical copy of a DVD or a VHS to bring back to your home and enjoy with some microwavable popcorn. That was the Blockbuster model, rentals. And I think that's exactly what Utah needs to do. They need to have a Blockbuster trade mentality. And what I mean by that is they need to find a good rental. And I was thinking about this today. I'm like, who's out there? Who can they rent? What's the criteria for finding this guy? It's very simple. Like, here's how they need to find it. They need to go to this standings page. The ESPN one works just fine. I'm pretty sure these are accurate. I'm pretty sure ESPN has their tools all figured out to get accurate standings in the National Hockey League. They need to go to these teams in particular, the teams that are at the bottom, that are out of the race. It's not going to happen for them. They are missing the playoffs. Buffalo is one of them. Here, you know, it might be a better way. Let's check the standings here by division. The Buffaloes of the world, the New York Rangers of the world, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Nashville Predators, the Calgary Flames, the Vancouver Canucks. These teams who are so far out of it at this point, it's like kind of a joke to even consider, to even fathom that they would even have the playoffs anywhere near their brains or anywhere in their dreams, I guess you could say, for this season. And identify someone who is a veteran, who can fill a role for the Utah Mammoth, and who is on an expiring contract, someone that they can literally just take on, play with the boys this year, help them out, fill some needs, and then the summer rolls around, we might just say, hey, goodbye. You know, thank you for your service. You did great. We appreciate you. We're going to return our rental. We are not buying the DVD of Good Burger. We are returning our Good Burger DVD. I feel like we rented Good Burger a lot at Burger King. Or at Burger King. See, that's my childhood. Going to Burger King, going to Blockbuster, renting Good Burger. There you go. See, I feel like I'm 9 years old doing this podcast. But go to, again, and I'm applying my own criteria in this thought process, and I think this is a good criteria. This is who Utah needs to target in this situation. And I've identified a few of these guys who could fill these needs. And I did it right here on Instagram. And follow me on Instagram at SLC Puck. Utah Mammoth trade targets. What's GMBA cooking? And I believe that actually is a picture of Bill Armstrong wearing our Big Tusk Energy hat. So that's good. What does that tell you about the hat? Pretty good hat, wouldn't you say? And if you flip through, you see, oh, wow, everybody's got a Big Tusk Energy hat. That's great. I think Boone Jenner, who is the captain for the Columbus Blue Jackets, is a good target. I think he's a big body, adds a strong veteran presence. He's in a contract year right now. I think he'd be pretty cheap. He's been banged up quite a little bit too. He's on the older end, 31, so he doesn't fit into the Mammoth's long-term plans. But he would be a great blockbuster addition to the Mammoth, I think. Other guys, Phillip Danault, we saw him the other night from the Kings. He's had a down year, but you buy low on this guy who's having a down year. You bring him in, and hopefully that sparks something out of him. I think this is a guy they need to look at and talk about. Other names, I've heard a lot of Mammoth fans bring this guy up, Ryan O'Reilly. In Nashville, it's been a disaster there with all the free agency signings that they've had over the last couple of years that have not come together. That's been the exact opposite of what they wanted. It's got to be a fire sale over there as they gear up for a full rebuild. They're going to get rid of some of their bigger contracts. Ryan O'Reilly is a little bit more on the expensive end, but I did see that his contract ends after next season. So they bite the bullet. They take on like maybe $4.5 million in AAV. Whatever's left from this season and then in next season. This is definitely someone that should be considered. Nazem Kadri is another one. He's on the more expensive end. I think he makes about $7 million, and his contract is a little bit trickier. He has a lot of no trade clause. Like he has a no trade list, I think they call it. If I'm mixing the terminology up, forgive me. We're still in year 2 of this podcast. And by the way, isn't it great that we're in year 2 and we have all these hats on the ice being worn by these NHL players? I think that's great. But again, this is another guy that needs to be talked about. Pre-order December 15th. Don't forget that. But again, go to Blockbuster, pick something out. Maybe it'll work for date night back at your place. And then you take it back. And I don't mean your date, but maybe I do. But I'm referring to the rental. And I think that's kind of what I would be thinking about. It's been reported that Utah has the green light to make some trades. It's time to do it. Like we don't know how long Logan Cooley's out. We don't know the extent of his injury. We do know there is some need, especially at the center position now that he's gone. They've been mixing the lines up in a crazy way. It worked pretty well tonight. They almost got a win. But I think this is kind of the Band-Aid fix that's needed at this point. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Would love to hear what you guys think. So sound off in the comments. Thank you so much for listening to SLC Puck. I'm Austin Facer. You can follow the show at SLC Puck on all platforms. Don't forget, we got that dope Mammoth hat, Big Tusk Energy hat. It's not a Mammoth hat, excuse me. Don't get me in any legal trouble. Big Tusk Energy hat. Pre-order drops Friday for Patreon, Monday for everybody else. So I'd recommend getting in on the Patreon. We'll talk to you guys soon. We'll talk to you guys on Sunday. All right? Take care.